Hello, everyone, and welcome aboard this ship tour of Liberty of the Seas. Before we get started, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below and be sure to hit that bell to be notified every time we upload a new video. We do ship tours just like this all the time. We have one of Symphony of the Seas coming up in just about a month here, and we'll also be doing a sister ship, Freedom of the Seas, in a few months here in February. So stay tuned for all of that. We also have videos from every single day on board this beautiful, beautiful ship, Liberty of the Seas. Anyways, let's jump right into it. As we always do here on the channel, we start our ship tours at the very top of the ship, at the very front. So here on deck 14, we have the mini golf course, Liberty Dunes. This is a 9-hole mini golf course. This is a lot of fun, complete with even a little school bus and all sorts of really cool decorations. On the sides of deck 14 here, we also have some loungers, kind of a little peaceful relaxation area. There's never really a lot of people up here, but it is a really cool spot, and you do get a really good look of deck 12 since there is no deck 13. But anyways, we're going to head down over to deck 12. Here's the main area for the pool deck, or one of the main pool deck areas. We do have a little secret area off to our left-hand side where you can go up. There's maybe 10 to 12 loungers up there. But here we have the jogging track where you can get your morning runs in, or afternoon, whichever you prefer. You also have a lot of loungers on each side as well. And even with all those loungers, it really never feels too overcrowded up there. In the middle, we do have the Sky and Pool Bar. The Sky Bar is the one up on deck 12, and down below on the bottom, we have the Pool Bar on deck 11. We even have some of the tiered or stadium-like seating as we go from deck 12 down to 11 as you make your way down to the pool area. Here we have a look over at some of the pools. We have the two big pools on the side and even some hot tubs on the right-hand side, and even in the center. In the middle, we kind of have the one single hot tub as well, so that's really nice. As we continue further back, we have Splashaway Bay, which is the water park area for kids. This is on the middle portion of the ship, kind of towards the back as you make your way back from the pool deck towards the Viking Crown Lounge. Speaking of, that's where we're up to next. We're heading back up to deck 15 on board Liberty of the Seas. The Viking Crown Lounge is just a big bar area, basically. Not a whole lot going on up there, but it is a very peaceful and relaxing area if you just want some quiet time. There's never a lot of people up there. Now we're going to hop back down to deck 12. We're going to be all the way in the very back of the ship. We have just a little open deck, not a whole lot going on right here, but we do have some loungers. But if you look over to your left-hand side here, we have a little tiny staircase that's going to lead up to the Flow Rider, which is one of the big attractions here on Liberty of the Seas. She was only the second ship to ever have one of these, of course, her sister Freedom being the very first. So this is one of the original Flow Riders for the Royal Caribbean Fleet, which is kind of a neat little fun fact there. Facing the front of the ship, off to the left-hand side of the ship, or the port side, we have the two big water slides that are on board the ship. We have the green and the orange one. Both are really cool. I did them. They weren't as fast as they seemed. I think they just needed a little bit of wax and a little more water pressure. But definitely very fun slides nonetheless. I did get stuck, which is kind of weird. But they are really fun slides, and they have really cool lighting effects on the inside. Speaking of really cool slides, we have the Boomerang, or which it's basically a boomerang style slide. Coco Cay actually has one very similar to this called the Boomerang, but this one is on a ship. Unfortunately, didn't get to do this one, but it does seem like a ton of fun. So that's it for the slides in the Flow Rider area of deck 13. Yes, I lied earlier. There is a deck 13. It's kind of that in-between spot. But as we turn around and start heading forward, we have the basketball court here on deck 13, along with the rock climbing wall. We do even have little soccer goals. I didn't ever see anybody playing soccer, but we did play basketball the last night of the cruise. It was a lot of fun. It is a full-size basketball court, which is pretty impressive. Although with the size that ships are these days, it's not all that uncommon to see a full-size basketball court. But here we have a look at the rock climbing wall. That is one thing I didn't get to do this cruise, and I am a little upset about, but I do plan on doing that on Symphony next month. Just a downside of these 3-night cruises that we were on this weekend. Back onto deck 12, we have the Johnny Rockets Cafe. It's like a little 50s themed diner, which is really good. We did have this I believe, the second or third night of the cruise, but it was very good. This is the pay to eat, but it's a one-time charge, so I think you pay about $15, and you can have pretty much whatever you want on the menu, excluding milkshakes and alcohol. Directly next to Johnny Rockets, we have the inside part of the ship. We have one of the teen clubs. It's the living room. I believe this is the 15 to 17-year-old groups that go here. And then right inside here, we have the Challengers Arcade. This is a huge, huge arcade. It was really cool looking. I had a lot of fun in this when I was on Freedom of the Seas when I was a young kid. So definitely a lot of stuff to do. Let's skee ball, racing games, things like that. Here we also have the Explorers group, which is the 6 to 8 years old. And I believe the Voyagers are all the way directly back. Those are the youngest groups. I do like how they kind of make a reference towards the Voyager class with their naming of these kids clubs, the Voyagers, the Explorers, and I think even some of the Adventurers. But here we have a couple air hockey tables, claw machines, standard arcade stuff, but it is really, really cool. All the way forward on decks 11 and 12. Right now we're on deck 11. Here we have the gym on board. Up the staircase is the deck 12 portion of it. That's going to be the spa. We'll get there in just a moment. But here at the gym, we have all sorts of exercise equipment. If you want to work out, maybe at the beginning or the end of the day while you're on the cruise, work off all that buffet food. Here's a good place to do it, all the way forward on deck 11. And here we'll skip up to deck 12, up this little spiral staircase, which is really, really neat. Here we have the spa area with the little desk at the front where you'll be able to book any spa reservations you want to have. Skipping down to deck 11 all the way forward, we have a little towel station off to the side, and if you have little ones that need life jackets, you do have those available to you. There are lifeguards on duty, which is very nice, but if you want your little one to have some life jackets or a life jacket, they do have those available. Continuing all the way forward, we do have the cantilever whirlpools on each side of the ship. This is the solarium area. There's a little pool. It's supposed to be an adults-only area, but this is kind of a common walkway area going to and from the front of the ship. So there are kids here and there, but usually they're not hanging out in some of these loungers. Making a quick hop down to deck 11, we have the Windjammer Cafe. This is the buffet on board. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever you want, it's going to be here. When it comes to options here, there is definitely no shortage. There is just about anything for anyone. Of course, deck 11 is also going to be where all the pool stuff is that we saw earlier. We were just up on deck 12 when we saw that. Decks 10 through 6 are all going to be staterooms. There's not a whole lot going on between those. Most of the stuff is either up on the top or down low on this ship. So let's head down to deck 5 and get started here. We have the dining room. We are all the way in the back of the ship still. So we're going to head into the dining room. This is one of the largest dining rooms at sea, of course, compared to the Oasis class. The Oasis class obviously bigger. But this is a huge 3-story dining room. It is awesome. Very, very beautiful dining room too. Really huge chandelier there in the middle. Really, really neat. Didn't have anything here in the dining room on this cruise, but we did on Independence recently, and it was very good food. Now that we start making our way forward, finally, on deck 5, we have the Royal Promenade. Off to our right-hand side, we have guest services. And then on the left-hand side, we're going to have one of the bars that are found here on deck 5. And one really cool thing I love about the Freedom class is that we do have this bridge here that kind of connects everything together. It's just kind of a cool little thing that I really enjoy, and I always like to walk across it. But now, let's make our way into the main thing, the main event, the Royal Promenade. Here we first have our next cruise desk off to the left-hand side. Spent a little too much time there this last cruise on Liberty. Right across from there, we have the Get Out There shop. This isn't necessarily the Royal Caribbean merchandise, but it is almost like, I guess, stuff you would find on a cruise ship. Here's one place we don't normally see on some of the other ships in Royal Caribbean. It's the cupcake cupboard. I did not know this existed on this ship. I didn't get to try it, unfortunately, but it did look really good. And right next to there, of course, we have Ben & Jerry's. This made a big debut on the Freedom class ships. So Ben & Jerry's is an upcharge. It's only like $2 or $3, so it is fairly cheap. But if you want some really good ice cream, definitely you should try it out. Across from there, we have the Cafe Promenade. You can get your coffees, danishes, little snacks here and there for breakfast. Quick tip, if you're looking for Starbucks, it is built in to Cafe Promenade. If you can see there, that is the Starbucks menu. If you're looking for Starbucks, it's right there. They've got the full Starbucks menu. It's just not its own standalone kiosk like it is on some of the other ships in Royal Caribbean's fleet. Now we continue a little bit further down. We have some of the other shops. Here on our right-hand side, we have the jewelry store on board. We also have the liquor store on the left-hand side. Pay no attention to this guy off to the side here as we continue our way in. Here we have the gift shop, or the main gift shop. This is where you're going to get all of your Royal Caribbean merchandise. You can get hoodies, t-shirts, ship models, although they didn't have ship models this cruise, which is kind of a bummer. But I already have one, so it's good. But anything with a Royal Caribbean logo plastered all over it, coffee mugs, anything you can think of with a Royal Caribbean logo on it, you could probably find it here. Right across that, we have the Vintages Wine Bar. This is a exclusive wine bar, so don't expect to find any beers and liquors and anything like that here. It's exclusively wine, which is really cool. Right outside of Vintages, we also have a little staircase that leads directly down into the casino. We're going to get over there in just a few minutes as we continue our way through the promenade, but it is really cool that they have a staircase that goes directly down into it. And on the other side of the staircase, of course, we have a little perfume shop if anyone wants to buy some perfume while on board. And then over here we have like a little pub area, the Hoof and Claw. I hear really good things about it. I didn't have it on this one, but we tried it on Independence and they had some pretty good drinks there. And of course, one of my favorite places on any Royal Caribbean ship, we have Sorrento's. If you watch my videos, you will know I get Sorrento's like multiple times a day when I'm on ships. I love Sorrento's. Very good pizza. A lot better than Carnival's. Fight me. But all the way forward on deck 5, we have the Star Lounge. This is a area where they usually will do bingo, just a little lounge. Sometimes we'll do little game shows in here. I don't believe the comedy shows are held here. But I also didn't go to any of the comedy shows, so I'm not 100% sure on that. And we also do have a Pinnacle Club Lounge, which is really cool. Obviously, I can't get in there because I'm Platinum. But really cool for the Pinnacle guests that you get your own little lounge. Of course, you have 700 nights on a cruise line. They're going to give you special areas on the ships. We're going to hop down to deck 4. We have the little outdoor area underneath the lifeboats. This is one of my favorite spots on these ships as well. Get really good views of the ocean as well. And of course, when you're docked in port next to Freedom of the Seas or any other Royal Caribbean ship, you get a pretty good view of them as well. And one of the coolest things about the Freedom class and most Royal Caribbean class ships, you get access to the bow. You get to go out on the helipad. One of the best views, of course, that you can get on any cruise ship is up on this helipad. You get a look at the bridge and everything above it. You get a look at the helipad. And of course, especially like here when you're seeing double, you're seeing the 2 of the 3 Freedom class sister ships. Really, really cool views that you get up here. And another really cool spot on deck 4 is this area right outside the dining room, as you can see on Freedom, as we're almost mirroring each other there. This area, because the dining room is so large and wide, this part of the deck actually extends really far out, and you get really, really good views out here of just looking straight down the ship. But heading on the inside of deck 4, we have Boleros Bar. Other than the bar, this is just mainly a indoor seating area on the opposite side of this really nice staircase. We also have just the big seating area. Usually the bartenders will come out over this way as well, which is nice. And then heading forward, we have the Focus Photo Gallery. This is one of the big differences between Liberty and Independence. The Focus Photo Gallery is going to be right here. On Independence, this is actually Playmakers. Liberty of the Seas does not have Playmakers, which is unfortunate. That is a very popular and a very good restaurant, one of my favorites. But here, this is where you can get any photos that you take on board when you're getting on the ship, or even while you're taking them on the ship. You can get everything here. You can look at them digitally. You don't have to pick them up physically anymore, which is really nice. Could never find my photos whenever they used to have actual physical pictures printed out all over the place. Cuts down on waste too. So you just pretty much pick your photo and then you can go get it printed. Heading forward, we have the casino on board Liberty of the Seas. It's a very large casino. If you like to gamble, not normally my thing. I don't do it very often when I'm on these cruises, but I will here and there. But it is a very large casino. If that's your thing, you should definitely check this place out because it is huge. Heading forward out of the casino, we have the Schooner Bar. This is one of the famous bars on Royal Caribbean. I believe just about every ship in Royal Caribbean's fleet has this bar. This is a very popular bar. I know they do trivia here, and of course they have live music here at night, which is really, really neat. And as you come out of the Schooner Bar, you're going to have the Sabre restaurant. This is one of the specialty restaurants on board. This is usually found on some of the older ships, as this is actually Izumi on Independence of the Seas, and I believe on Freedom as well. Now we're going to head all the way down to deck 3, one of the last passenger decks here on the ship. We have the Platinum Theater. This is the main theater where they do a lot of the big shows. All the Broadway shows are done here. Couldn't get in because they were practicing at the time of me recording this, but that is where they are. Also, if you're staying on deck 3, on the interior cabins, they're down that little hallway there. Got lost on Independence because I was in those rooms. But also we have to go up through deck 4 and down again to deck 3 to the bottom because this is where the ice rink is. You couldn't get in to the ice rink on that side, so we had to go up, over, and back down. It's very dark in this little aisle here, but there was a big art auction going on through here. But this is where Studio B is. That is where the ice rink is. We couldn't go inside this as well, so I apologize. It is very dark, but they just had no lights on in here, which is really weird. As we head out of Studio B, we have the bottom of the big staircase area. This is more overflow for the big art auction area. We have the guy at the desk on the other side. And straight forward, we have the bottom level of the main dining room. And that's going to be all for today's ship tour of Liberty of the Seas. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Have you sailed on Liberty before? Or do you plan on sailing on her? She just got to Fort Lauderdale, where she's going to be doing 3 and 4 night cruises like her sisters Freedom and Independence, but out of Miami and Port Canaveral. Liberty is going to be sailing out of Port Everglades doing these short cruises, which is really nice. This Freedom class is honestly the perfect ship for these itineraries. So much fun, so much to do, and you get to go to Coco Cay on the weekend. Anyways, let me know what your thoughts are down below on Liberty of the Seas. And with that, I will see you in the next video. We'll have our Embarkation Day, Part 1, will be airing on Monday. So plenty of content coming just for you of this beautiful ship, Liberty of the Seas. We'll see you next time.